Hello everyone, this is Gene from NYC, and I just wanted to make a really quick video, which I'm actually going to label as a challenge of sorts, to one Mark Waid. If you've seen my two videos recently, I talked about how I had an online conversation with Mr. Waid about the, what's labeled as the Covington blackface photo. Right, where you have the several members of the team participating in what is known in sports as a blackout. Right, when you wear all black, and some people paint their face and paint their body in black. It's a basketball thing, right? It's a sports thing, but there were many in the media and many people online, Mr. Waid included, who were shaming the Covington Catholic High School for having done this at all. Keep in mind, this was a photo from 2012, but you know, they were being shamed for it, even though it's a practice that they have since stopped, from what I saw in articles that have come out since. I also bring this up because Mark Waid, and I mentioned it in a video about this, effectively told me to shut up and to stop talking about the matter on his Facebook page, and I've agreed to that. I've left his Facebook page. I do not comment on it anymore, but I did make a video bringing that up, that he told a biracial brown woman to, in my opinion, he didn't exactly use the word shut up. What he said was that we should drop the matter. I took the time to understand our conversation, and I dropped it. I didn't discuss it with him. I discussed it with a few other people. I provided links, and I wrote, basically my own side of it, defenses for why the Covington kid thing wasn't blackface. Ill-advised, yes, but not blackface. Blackout and blackface are two different things. So he eventually, I guess, noticed this, and he said to me something to the effect of I thought we agreed to drop it. So, as I was saying, Waid noticed that I was still talking to others about it, and he said in a roundabout manner to tell me to shut up, in my estimation. I believe what his tweet actually, or not his tweet, it wasn't a tweet, it was on Facebook. What his Facebook post said was, I thought we agreed to drop it. Apparently not. I responded by telling him that I would leave his page to honor my word, but that I also didn't see him telling anybody else to stop talking about it. And if you want to, again, I don't engage, but if you want to, you can go look this up still, assuming he still has it up. Last I checked, he did. And you can see our interaction. I have since copied the tweets between Waid and myself and saved them, in case something ever happens, in case, something ever blows up, or he tries to deny that this conversation ever happened. You never know. Things blow up in the comics world at a nuclear level. But there's a reason behind this little recap, and it's because of another issue involving blackface that has come out recently. If you may know, or you may not, but a Democrat politician, I think a governor, by the name of Ralph Northam, I believe his name is. Right, it's now come out in the news that he was in I believe a yearbook photo from 1984 or 1985, which is nearly as old as I am, right? So over 30 years ago, that he was in this yearbook photo in what is clearly racist apparel, right? It's the photo itself. It has someone, some say it's Northam, some say it's not, but it has someone dressed in what is in minstrel blackface, right? Jim Crow era minstrel blackface. Some say that's Northam in that costume, some say it's not. And so that's the person on the left. And the person on the right is dressed up as a Klan member. And there's no mistaking it. You look at the image and there's no way to try to, justify or explain or provide some sort of alternate explanation. It's racist imagery, right? It's blackface. It's the KKK. right? To my understanding, it was done in jest or in some way that was not serious, but still, it is, in and of itself, objectively speaking, racist imagery. You cannot get around that, right? A blind person could see that it's racist imagery. And the reason I bring this up is because Mr. Waid, Mr. The Strong Protect the Weak, the same person who's written for superheroes such as Captain America and Superman and The Flash, he's always talking about how the strong protect the weak. And he tends to write, or at least his most famous works, tend to be written for characters who are those sort of all-American champions of justice type characters. Again, Captain America, Superman, those type of characters. For whatever reason, in Mr. Waid's career, those are the type of characters that he's remembered for writing. Right? His most famous work, I think, his most well-known work, at least in mainstream comics, is Kingdom Come, where he wrote Superman. He didn't write it alone, but again, that is his most famous work for it. So the reason I bring all this up is because Mr. Waid, had no issue bringing up and possibly publicly shaming. I mean, he certainly had no problem with expressing his opinion, and I would say it was possible public shaming of the Covington school and the kids because of a blackout photo. Right? He had no issue posting that on his Facebook. He had no issue allowing conversation that agrees with his position that it was racist on his Facebook, right? And I firmly believe that he and many others had no issue with shaming the Covington school and shaming the Covington kids because, of course, the most famous thing at the moment, is the boy in the MAGA hat, and smiling weirdly at the old Indian guy banging a drum in front of his face. And now, so many are trying to associate MAGA, and they were trying this previously, but they're trying to associate MAGA with overt expressions of racism, right? Well, here's the thing. MAGA, right, is associated with the Republicans. It's especially associated with Trump, who, for those who are in the outrage crowd and especially in comics for most pros, he is public enemy number one. He's worse than Satan himself. So here's my challenge of sorts to Waid. Mr. Waid, will you answer the call? Will you be, as Bruce Lee was here, a hero, a warrior, a legend? Will you also, on your Facebook page, address the clear, blatant racism of Mr. Northam's yearbook photo from 1984 or 85? Will you, just as you did with the Covington blackout photo, right, put it on your Facebook page, let people talk about it, let people call out in a public forum with your name on it how racist a clearly minstrel blackface and KKK outfit is? Will you allow people to do that? Will you open up your Facebook or your Twitter or any other sort of public forum, right, public social media account you have, to call this out, to point out that regardless of whether or not a person aligns as a Democrat, as a Republican, as a Trump supporter, or anything else, that racist imagery, clear, blatant racist imagery, is not something that should be tolerated in America? Will you do to Ralph Northam what you did to the Covington kids? Will you put a link to this story and the stories that are coming out about this blackface, this clear as plain as day, blackface and KKK photo? Will you put a link on there and let people talk about it? Will you use your platform, which is certainly much larger than mine, right, to allow people to express themselves and talk about how racist it is? Or will you do what I think you're going to do, which is not say a word about Ralph Northam, I should say. Which is because he's a Democrat, because he's a liberal, you're not going to say anything. Or at least I don't believe you're going to say anything. So anyhow, that's my challenge to Waid of sorts. I know this got a little bit rambly, went much longer than I wanted it to, but that's basically my challenge to him. I don't know if he'll see this, but I mean it. I do challenge him. I challenge you to Mortal Kombat. No. I don't challenge him to Mortal Kombat, though I'm pretty damn sure I beat him thoroughly in Mortal Kombat. But I do challenge him to be fair, to be consistent. If you're going to put up the Covington blackout photo and claim that it's racism, or imply that it's racism, and allow the people in your comments who are talking on it to call them racist, and then kick out the only brown person who's defending them, who's explaining the situation, are you going to do the same for Ralph Northam, a Democrat? Are you going to, speak about this matter on your page? Are you going to, put a link on your Facebook page or your Twitter or anything else and say, hey, it doesn't matter which side it's on, don't do stuff like this? Or will you conveniently just let it slide and not mention it? I know what I think you'll do, but I'll wait and see what you do. Maybe I'll have to make a video saying that, hey, I gotta eat crow. Mark actually did address it. Or I might end up making a video saying, hey, Mark still hasn't said a word about it yet. I know which video I think I'll be making, but let's see. So, here's the challenge to you, Mark. Be like Bruce. Be a hero. Be a warrior. Be a legend. Be all the things you claim you are, or that you want to be. Be Superman. Be Captain America. Be that guy who protects the weak from the strong. Live up to the words you write for your characters. And call Ralph Northam out. Post this on your Facebook page. And let's see what happens. Anyway, that's all I had to say, and that got much more rambly and off course than I intended. But still, at least you got 12 minutes of staring at Bruce Lee. So I hope everybody has a good day. See you later. Bye.